Hey, what's up, everyone? This is going to be a pay-per-view review of TNA's Destination X 2011. Overall, it was a good effort. I appreciate what TNA was trying to do with this show to let the X Division shine. We got to see some of our favorite wrestlers go out there. However, though, I'm going to give you a very honest review. This was nothing groundbreaking. It was good, though. It was. This is probably going to end up being the best TNA pay-per-view of the year. I think it was. I think it was that good. However, though, like I said, it was nothing groundbreaking. It's not. This is not going to end up being one of the top 10 shows of the year or the pay-per-view of the year like some people were trying to make it out to be. But I did appreciate what they tried to do. I'd say it was definitely worth the money. Some of the matches didn't really exceed expectations, but yeah, there was some good stuff on the show. I think there's enough. TNA could use some of the momentum from this pay-per-view and carry it over into Bound for Glory with guys. You can start pushing guys like Austin Aries and Christopher Daniels. I think those are two of the brightest spots off the show, their performances. So let's just break it down. First match tonight, we had Samoa Joe and Frankie Kazarian, Kaz, whatever you want to call him. And I would say that, this was good. I thought that for this match to really, for this pay-per-view really to reach that amazing level and for the pay-per-view to blow everything away, I felt like this was the match that really needed to deliver, because I kind of had question marks about this because I haven't seen Joe wrestle in a while, and Kaz, I don't know, to me Kaz isn't as good as he used to be, but this is a good opener. Joe looked hungry, he showed aggressiveness, he looked like he really wanted to be there. He did some really good submissions to Kaz, Chiquita Klutz, STF. Kaz fought it off, got to the rope, so pretty good drama. Kind of a weak finish. It's hard to really buy into the finish after we've seen Joe, built up as this dominant, champion in the X Division and in Ring of Honor. So it was kind of disappointed. I was really upset with Joe's conditioning. He looked really fat, actually. This is probably the worst I've ever seen him look as far as his conditioning goes. He really, he started off good, but I felt like he got winded as the match progressed. So, I know Joe's Samoan, so what's he gonna do, right? But yeah, I mean, it was a good opener, but nothing. I was just kind of disappointed by it. So next up we have what do we have next? We have Douglas Williams taking on a gentleman named Mark Haskins. Never heard of him before. The name sounds familiar, but I don't know. This really didn't belong on the pay-per-view. I really felt like they should have used Kurt Angle on this show. I think Angle had the X Division champion in the past. He had that great match with Jay Lethal, which everyone loved. So I felt like Angle should have been in this spot. So I understand they don't want to screw the fans over by doing that, but the guy kind of botched a couple things. The fans really weren't into it. It didn't go over too well. It was good for a television match, but it was just kind of okay. That's all it was. Next up, we had the Young Bucks Generation Me taking on Shark Boy and Petey Williams. This was very frustrating. This was not the Young Bucks from PWG. This was very average. This was just, I don't know, man. Young Bucks facing two guys that are pretty much scrubs. Both these guys don't even belong in the same ring with the Young Bucks. I mean, we've seen the Young Bucks win tag team title tournaments going over David Richards, Bryan Danielson, Roderick Strong, El Generico, Kevin Steen. They beat all these great tag teams. It's just really hard to buy into the Young Bucks losing to Shark Boy and what's his name, Eric Young. Don't fire Eric. But yeah, this was like I said, it's probably the worst match of the night. Just the Young Bucks should have been utilized a lot better on the show, because they're such a hot young tag team. They pretty much exemplify what the X Division is all about, and so this is a big letdown. I could see why they didn't promote this match, because yeah, I mean, the Young Bucks should have definitely been paired up against someone. Now they could have brought in someone like a Zack Sabre Jr. or someone, maybe an international talent, to come in there and tag up with him and face the Young Bucks. That would have been much better. All right, so after that we had the Ultimate X match. This was, I don't know, I didn't have high expectations for this. This was a mixed bag of talent. Alex Shelley, Amazing Red, I'm cool with that. But then you had Shannon Moore, who's okay, and then we had Robbie E, the Jersey Shore guy. Robbie E, he really, kind of, there was too much from him in this match, in my opinion. He really controlled a lot of the match, which was very, very dull. I don't know. Shelley really didn't do much. I mean, there were some nice spots onto the outside. The finishing sequence was pretty entertaining. But this probably was one of the worst Ultimate X matches I've ever seen. But, my expectations weren't that high. It was still good. It just wasn't, amazing. I thought the right guy definitely won the match. Alex Shelley won. Um, I think it's about time that Shelley moves up to the main event level, the heavyweight division. I think he's that good. I think he's been stuck in the X division for far too long. So, depending on how long Saban is out, I could definitely see, Alex Shelley, facing Christopher Daniels for the title at Bound for Glory or something like that. I don't think it's that much of a fantasy. So, hopefully Shelley definitely progresses, out of the X division pretty soon. So next up we have Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn. Finally, the last match they had was at, I guess it was Guilty as Charged 2001. So it's been almost, I guess it's been over 10 years since these guys have faced each other. RVD has always been, wishing or, drooling over the chance to face Jerry Lynn again. And, he finally got his opportunity here. And, it was good. I would say that their age kind of, held this back from being great. You could definitely tell that, you got a 40-year-old and, Jerry Lynn's 48 now. So, they had a tough time, but I still thought they busted their ass. They really worked hard. If you've seen all the RVD Jerry Lynn matches, they pretty much packed in all the memorable spots from all their previous matches into this match. The Van Daminator spot, Van Dam actually tried to attempt the Van Daminator, and then Jerry Lynn countered it and did a leg drop to RVD and, smashed Van Dam's leg into the chair. That was awesome. Jerry Lynn did a sunset flip, and then Van Dam went flying all the way across the ring and landed on the back of the chair. So, really satisfying match. I thought, I thought these two guys did deliver. It obviously wasn't their best match, but, awesome ending with Van Dam doing a frog splash. He actually hit the frog splash from one end of the ring all the way across to the other side. So, definitely a great effort. I'm still going to give it 4 stars, even though, some people might think I'm overrating it, but bottom line is we still got vintage RVD and Jerry Lynn. So, that was good enough for me. So next up we have the match of the night. We had Austin Aries, Low Key, Jack Evans, and Shima Xion. And this, yeah, I mean, just great action. This is what the X division is all about. I thought Austin Aries, he cut a great promo before the match. They built up to this match pretty nicely. All guys cut promos before the match, so they really treated this match like it was important. And like I said, Aries cut one of the best promos of the year, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, all guys, they just look great. You're really on the edge of your seat. Like trying to see who will win this match. Aries looked great. Low Key looked really stiff. Shima Xion looked really, really good. He really connected with the fans. Evans pulled out a 680 splash. Just really hard-hitting action. Just a really satisfying match. Definitely the match of the night. Austin Aries actually defeated Low Key with the Brainbuster to actually win the TNA contract. So yeah, I'm really happy about Austin Aries. I hope, I definitely think this is the perfect guy to feud with AJ Styles. I think Austin Aries, AJ Styles, that needs to happen at Bound for Glory. Whether it's for the title or not, whatever. I mean, but those two guys are made for each other, and they really haven't had any matches that were memorable in the past. So really excited about what they could do. All right, so next up we have after that we had Brian Kendrick versus Abyss for the X Division Championship. This wasn't much of a match. I really wasn't looking forward to this. I don't think this really had a lot of appeal. Kendrick looked good. Abyss looked pretty good. This got pretty bloody. But they could have done a little bit more. It was starting to really get good. Then we got an interference from Immortal, and then the X Division came out. So we kind of got a big brawl, and then we got a pretty hot finish. Kendrick actually countered the choke slam into a roll up and actually defeated Abyss for the X Division Championship. Then the X Division celebrated with Brian Kendrick. So it was a nice moment. It wasn't a great match, but it was something special. It wasn't bad at all. So next up we had AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. It was good. I'm going to say this is a 4-star match. It was, I don't know, I was just disappointed by it a little bit. I thought both guys, the athleticism was there. The chemistry was there. They didn't like, not everything went smoothly though. There were some botches. I mean, the crowd was kind of, you know, kind of annoying in this match. I mean, they were kind of dead at some points, but you know, they were supportive. But I don't know. I felt like Christopher Daniels really should have won this match. I felt like he needed it. This really, it kind of felt like the same match that they had at Final Resolution 2009. It really did. I don't know. I can't say that this was their best match ever. I felt like this really needed to deliver above expectations. It was still good though. I mean, a really cool finish with AJ doing the spiral tap. It just didn't have the impact and the effect that I thought it needed to have. So I don't know. It was still a good match, still a good main event. This pay-per-view was still pretty good actually. Um, so I think everyone should at least give it a chance if you have the money. It's not must see. It didn't blow away the expectations, but um, you know, I still appreciate it for what it was worth. I still thought it was good. So that's pretty much all I can say about it. Let me know what you guys thought of it. I think my overall rating would probably be like an 8.0 or 8.25, something like that. So